Hi guys, this is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? Hi. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. And if you get anything from my work, a connect, a dot, an epiphany, a mind-blown moment, a new book to read, a new author to explore, artwork. You can check out all those links in the bottom of the description. AllyKatzkreations211.com is where you can find these cool creations. This is a skull. Something I'm adding to my repertoire. So, quantum, AI, and metaphysical ponderings, because there's some goodies that popped up in my Facebook realm, and it's still early in the day. And I'm taking a break from everything else. Because my goodness, I actually have my tea. It's almost cooled down. Almost. I don't like it piping hot. So today's article, one out of many, this is from Popular Mechanics. Physicists screwed around and unlocked a bizarre quantum behavior. It started as routine research and ended with a revelation. This is by Darren Orff, published February 27th, 2024. Although electrons are considered elementary particles, meaning they don't break apart into further subatomic particles, they can be splintered into what's known as fraction charge. For decades, this requires powerful magnets to induce this strange phenomena. But in recent years, scientists have pulled off the feat without magnetism. A new study from MIT successfully produced anomalous fractional charge using an ultra-thin sheets of graphene, flakes of boron nitride, and really, really cold temperatures. Oh boy. The basic building blocks of all things is the atom, a nucleus of neutrons and protons orbited by electrons. But even protons and neutrons have building blocks known as gluons and quarks. Electrons, on the other hand, are elementary particles, meaning they're not made of smaller particles. But that doesn't necessarily mean they can't be divided into smaller pieces. In a new paper published in the journal Nature, MIT scientists splintered electrons into fractions of a whole in a rare phenomenon known as fractional charge. While this phenomenon has been known for decades, the method by which MIT divvied up the electron definitely raised a few eyebrows. Usually, to obtain this fractional quantum Hall effect, as physicists call it, an experiment needs to create a maintained magnetic field, and only recently has the effect been observed outside these powerful magnetic conditions. We're gonna move along. This arrangement allowed the electrons to pass through with only a fraction of their charge, creating the first fractional quantum anomalous Hall effect. Anomalous here meaning non-magnetic in crystalline graphene, according to the MIT press release. This fractional quantum Hall effect was first observed back in 1982 using gallium arsenide and magnets, and discovery eventually won the trio of researchers the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1998. As Ju explained, the discovery of fractional electron charge was completely unexpected, and no existing theories at the time could explain it. In order to achieve the first instance of fractional charge, researchers employed the use of magnet 10 times stronger than the MRI machine. It wasn't until July of 2023 that the first research team discovered a non-magnetic fractional charge using a twisted semiconductor of molybdenum ditelluride, and now graphene joins that anomalous list. Discovering more materials like graphene that display a similar effect could be a boom for quantum computing, as the phenomenon can add protection for qubits during computations. Plucking things out of the ether, stuff that is going to help us in quantum computing. Although, once again, I believe it is sentient, what and who is using these things. And I'm glad a lot of this technology is and these experiments are being done. But once again, is it safe? We can only tell by time, space, time if these things are for us or if they're not. But we are headed into the new age, a new cycle. The dawn is here. The new beginning is coming. So we need to advance things. I totally understand that. But this quantum computing is still in its infancy, and we really need to have our eyes and ears on these articles and on these discoveries just to be in the know what they're doing, per se. This next article is from charmingscience.com. This is also by Mohammed Quasar Rather. I read a lot of his articles, actually. Physicists entangle individual molecules for the first time, hastening possibilities for quantum computing. See the trend here. As much as we love our devices, things are going to start changing and rapidly come into our manifestation at the outer world. We need to be prepared. And we need to have an understanding of what we are putting into our lives. And if it meshes with us, although I don't see another avenue around it, just to be honest. For the first time, a team of Princeton physicists have been able to link together individual molecules into special states that are quantum mechanically entangled. In these bizarre states, the molecules remain correlated with each other and can interact simultaneously, even if they are miles apart, or indeed, even if they occupy opposite ends of the universe. This research was recently published in the journal Science. This is a breakthrough in the world of molecules because the fundamental importance of quantum entanglement, said Lawrence Shuck, assistant professor of physics at Princeton University and the senior author of the paper. But it is also breakthrough for practical applications because entangled molecules can be building the blocks for many future applications. These include, for example, quantum computers that can solve certain problems much faster than conventional computers, quantum simulators that can model complex materials whose behaviors are difficult to model, and quantum sensors that can measure faster than their traditional counterparts. One of the motivations in doing quantum science is that in the practical world, it turns out that if you harness the laws of quantum mechanics, you can do a lot better in many areas, said Connor Holland, a graduate student in the physics department and co-author of the work. The ability of quantum devices to outperform classical ones is known as quantum advantage. And at the core of quantum advantage are the principles of superposition and quantum entanglement. While a classic computer bit can assume the value of either 0 or 1, quantum bits, called qubits, can simultaneously be in a superposition of 0 and 1. The later concept, entanglement, is a major cornerstone of quantum mechanics and occurs when two particles become inextricably linked with each other, so that this link persists even if one particle of light years away from the other particle. It is the phenomenon that Albert Einstein, who at first questioned its validity, described as spooky action at a distance. Nothing spooky about it, guys, because we, as a collective, are entangled to source and to our oversoul and higher selves and other dimensionalities that are fractals of, we're just a little portion in this little vehicle. I have a tiny vehicle, but the infinitude of your soul is expansive, and you're entangled molecularly to all the densities and dimensions that you are inhabiting in your other fractals. That's how you could channel and get answers to questions, your dream states, and things that are happening. Snapshots are all quantum entanglement. If you want to specifically be scientific, that's what's happening. It's just scientific talk and not spiritual talk, but it's the same mechanics behind both theories. So they're using and adapting what a lot of us already know into computing, which is scary because something else could interfere in the wave of the quantum entanglement and write some other kind of code. We'll see if that ever comes to pass, but that's something that time crystals have an issue with. I'm skipping around all these article guys because a lot of them are longer, some of them are shorter, and I like to keep things flowing. They also believe that molecules can have certain advantages over atoms, for example, that made them especially well suited for certain applications in quantum information processing and quantum simulation of complex materials. Certain atoms, compared to atoms, for example, molecules have more quantum degrees of freedom and can interact in new ways. What this means in practical terms is that there are new ways of storing and processing quantum information, said Yukai Liu, a graduate student in electrical and computer engineering and a co-author of the paper. For example, a molecule can vibrate and rotate in multiple modes, so that you can use two of these modes to encode a qubit. If the molecular species is polar, two molecules can interact even when spatially separated. Next, they encoded a qubit into a non-rotating and rotating state of the molecule. They were able to show that this molecule qubit remained coherent. That is, it remembered its superposition. In short, the researchers demonstrated the ability to create well-controlled and coherent qubits out of individually controlled molecules. That's bananas. To entangle the molecules, they had to make the molecule interact by using a series of microwave pulses. They were able to make individual molecules interact with one another in a coherent fashion. Using molecules for quantum science is a new frontier, and our demonstration of an on-demand entanglement is a key step in demonstrating that molecules can be used as viable platform for quantum science, said Schuck. The fact that they got the same results verifies reliably of our results. They also show that molecular tweezer arrays are becoming an exciting new platform for quantum science. Sure. Once again, this is awesome news to people who are in computers and do, engineering and the sciences. But in what way will it be controlled? Will there be control? We started out with, I mean, a room filled with an array of buildings of supercomputers, a supercomputer with tons of equipment and servers and all kinds of nonsense. What's going to happen with these computers? And how is that going to translate to what we use in our future? Is it safe? What is it going to harness? What is it going to put out? Is there EMFs involved? How are they drawing in the energy if we're going to start doing free energy and get things from the ether? Like how is all of this going to translate? We don't know, but I'm just hoping, at what cost is it going to be for humanity? Is it going to be a lot of money? Is there going to be money? Who's controlling? Is it going to be still the corporation and the monopolies thereof controlling this information, controlling the computer technology that comes out to the mass populace? I always question these things because this technology is 20 years past. It's already been discovered and stuff. I believe that now people are doing the research and figuring out better ways of not having a whole building be a computer, but trying to get it into our hands. But there has to be some kind of cost to this. And we don't know where that's going to head. But it's something to question and something to keep in the back of your mind when this technology does come out for the mass populace, if it does. And are they using it for sentient positive polarities or negative polarities? What are they using these computers for? Yeah, simulations and all kinds of stuff, but to determine what? The falsehoods of what the universe is. They're still trying to prove it. And totality of truth isn't going to be known by anybody here on this plane of existence. You have to merge back with source and the totality of it all to get the whole smackdown. So only one can speculate at this point. Only one can speculate. This next article, again, is from Charming Science by, again, Mohammed Koizar Rather. And this was March 6, 2024. Revolutionary discovery researchers uncover new principle of motion in liquid crystals. A research team affiliated with UNIST has unveiled for the first time a new principle of motion in the micro world, where objects can move in a direction. Wow, my dyslexia. Where objects can move in a directed manner simply by changing their sizes periodically within a substance known as liquid crystal. Led by Professor Yanhu Zhang and his research team in the Department of Physics in UNIST, this discovery is poised to have far-reaching implications across various research fields, including the potential future development of miniature robots. The paper is published in the Journal of Nature Communications. In their research, the team observed their air bubbles within the liquid crystal could move in one direction by altering their sizes periodically, contrary to the symmetrical growth or contraction typically seen in air bubbles in other mediums. By introducing air bubbles comparable in size to a human hair into the liquid crystal and manipulating the pressure, the researchers were able to demonstrate this extraordinary phenomenon. The key to the phenomenon lies in the creation of phase defects within the liquid crystal structure next to the air bubbles. These defects disrupt the symmetrical nature of the bubbles, enabling them to experience an unidirectional force despite their symmetrical shape, as the air bubbles fluctuate in size, pushing and pulling the surrounding liquid crystal. They are propelled in consistent direction, defying the conventional laws of physics. There we go again. We are moving on up dimensionally. So the laws of which we were thinking we were bound by are now merging and expanding to something else. Professor Young commented, this intriguing result underscores the significance of symmetry breaking in both time and space in driving motion at the microscopic level. Moreover, it holds promise for advancing research in the development of microscopic robotics. This is scary. And the reason why it's scary is because we're already seeing articles and commentary from theories out there, hypotheses, that small insects have implanted robotics or cybernetics, that when they're, either spying on you, trying to inject something in you, this is all hypothesis. I'm not saying this is so, align in your heart space, but it begs to differ in what microscopic level are they talking about. This is something to watch. This is something that it puts my alarm bells up. Not to say that this is a great advancement into something maybe that could be useful, not necessarily in robotics, but Terminator. I don't want to go there. I just don't want to do it. So clones, these are things and elements that we got to keep our eyes on to see what they're trying to do with these discoveries and the uses of different things. Once again, we're moving away from the laws which we were bound by in third dimension, third density. Now we're already moving and shifting into fourth. The laws are going to start evolving, and what we once had foundations of is going to expand, which is great. And we need to have these breakthroughs, but at what cost to humanity, and what polarity is this being done in? Is this for a negative agenda, or is this for a positive agenda? Time can only tell in our linear base of knowing of time what this might do. So another one to keep your eyes and ears open for, because it's getting scary out there. Smidgen. Just a smidgen. This next article is also from Charming Science and also by Mohammed Quasar, rather. Goodness, very popular writer. Scientists may have discovered a fifth force of nature that could change everything. Oh boy. Scientists have revealed that a subatomic particle called a muon has wobbled unexpectedly, suggesting that there might be a fifth force of nature besides the four known ones. The four known forces of nature are the electromagnetic force and the strong, weak nuclear forces, which are explained by the standard model of particle physics, and gravity, which is not. The standard model also does not account for dark matter, a mysterious substance that makes about 27% of the universe. We can all argue that one. The new evidence for a possible fifth force comes from experiments at the Fermi Lab, oh, we love those people, U.S. Particle Accelerator Facility, which researchers studied how muons, which are likely heavy electrons, spin in a magnetic field. The researchers expected the muons to spin at a certain frequency based on standard model, but they found that the muons spun faster than predicted, indicating that there might be some unknown particle or force affecting them. Skipping around a little bit, if the measurements don't match the calculation, that would mean that there is some new particle appearing in the loops, which could, for example, be the carrier of a fifth force. The results from Fermilab are consistent with previous ones from the same facility. However, Patel said that there was a problem. The theoretical prediction of the muon's frequency has become more uncertain over time. That could change the situation. Maybe what they are seeing is standard scientific thinking, the so-called standard model, Patel said, which could be changing anyway. Like I said earlier, things are shifting and moving into new dimensional space. New stuff has to come out. Ideally, the difference would inspire new theoretical ideas that would lead to new predictions, for example, of how we might find the particle that carries the new force, if that's what it is. The final confirmation would then be building an experiment to directly discover that particle. The experiments at Fermilab are not the only ones to hint at a fifth force. The work at the Large Hadron Collider has also shown interesting findings, but with a different type of experiment looking at how often muons and electrons are produced and certainly particles decay. But Patel, who worked on the LHC experiment, said those results were now less consistent. They are different experiments measuring different things, and they may or may not be a connection. The observation is a great achievement and very unlikely to be wrong now, he said. So if the theory predictions get sorted out, this could indeed be the first confirmed evidence for a fifth force or something else strange and beyond the standard model. So this is exactly what I've been saying, is we're merging into another dimensional space and density where things are going to be challenged. The standard model is going to be revised to be something else. We have the foundations, and now we have to have an open mind to see the expansion happening. And we're seeing it really in the scientific world first, as everybody needs tangible evidence to feel and see to believe, and some of us don't. But this is a very interesting article. It's short, but hey, new force of nature. Let's go. Bring it. This next article is from Brookhaven National Laboratories. We know what comes out of those places. SBU research team takes major step toward a functioning quantum internet, February 7, 2024. A team of Stony Brook University physicists and their collaborators have taken a significant step toward the building of a quantum internet tested by demonstrating a functional quantum network measurement that employs room temperature quantum memories. Their findings are described in a paper published in the Nature journal Quantum Information. The research with quantum computing and quantum networks is taking place around the world in hopes of developing a quantum internet, a network of quantum computers, sensors, and communication devices that will create, process, and transmit quantum states and entanglement. It is anticipated to enhance society's internet system and provide certain services, securities that the current internet does not have. The field of quantum information combines aspects of physics, mathematics, and classical computing to use quantum mechanics to solve complex problems much faster than classical computing and to transmit information in an unhackable manner. While the vision of a quantum internet is growing and the field has been surge in interest from the researchers and public at large, accompanied by steep interest in the capital investments, an actual quantum internet prototype has not been built. I am going to go further down. How a quantum repeater network works. A quantum repeater hop requires two sources of entangled photon pairs separated by distance. One photon from each pair is sent toward a central measurement node. They are then stored in quantum memories. Their partner photons are sent in opposite directions, also stored in quantum memories separated by a distance. A measurement qualifying the indistinguishability of the two photons arriving at the central node, similar to what was demonstrated by Figueroa's team, can be used to entangle the distantly located photons. To get these feats of quantum memories to work together at a quantum level and in room temperature state is something that is essential for the quantum internet on any scale. To our knowledge, the feat has not been demonstrated before, and we expect to build on this research. So here is another thing about quantum computing that we have to be a little on the what the hell and who these people, not so great things, and not saying and not judging the people working on these things. That doesn't bind evil to a location or whatever have you. But we really need to understand these things are going to be here, but we are always expecting the quantum internet and the Q stuff to be here already, and they're still developing it. Even if this technology is underground and it's not to surface yet, we're rushing for things that are not in existence on surface level for everybody to use. Just let's put it that way. So we got to be careful when we're saying, well, the quantum system and this system and that system, okay, in what form and fashion if they're still working on supercomputers? And they're doing all these experiments to get the quantum internet up. Just a hypothesis and just saying. This next article is from livescience.com, and this is something that I'm most likely going to possibly talk about on Turn the Page with Janine. I think I'm doing a show on Thursday, 7 Central, I think. I'm not seeing an author. Oh, there we are. By Harry Baker, published March 1st, 2024. Exploding green devil comet could photobomb April 8th, total solar eclipse, and it might be visible with the naked eye. Comet 12P Pions Brooks, also known as the Devil Comet, will be positioned close to the sun during the April 8th total solar eclipse. Some photographers also predict that the volcanic comet may be visible to the naked eye, especially if it blows its top before the big event. Oh, what synchronicity do we have here? The explosive Devil Comet could rear its green-tinged, hornless head during the total solar eclipse on April 8th. The city-sized comet, which is currently racing toward Earth, may show up in photos of the rare astronomical event. And if it erupts before totality, the phase of the eclipse when the sun is completely blocked, the comet could also be viewed to the naked eye, one expert claims. So we'll have to see. 12P is expected to make its closest approach to the sun on April 24th before slingshotting around our home star and making it closest approach to Earth on June 2nd. This means that during the upcoming eclipse, which will be visible across large parts of North America, 12P will be a lot brighter than it is now and will be positioned very close to the sun. As a result, the comet could be visible to photographers. Interesting. So while we all are getting our radiant light upgrades, we can be on the lookout for the Devil Comet. Fun times. Choice wording there. 12P will be positioned near Jupiter, which should be visible to the naked eye and will be located slightly above to the left of the sun as viewed from the ground. And this will provide a great spatial marker for photographers of the green comet. Yeah, so during the April 8th eclipse, the sun will be at solar maximum, the most active phase of the sun's 11-year solar cycle. As a result, its corona, the outer atmosphere, which looks like a sea of ghostly white tendrils during an eclipse, will be especially visible, making this year's eclipse a once-in-a-lifetime event. So I will be talking more about the energetic spiritual components of this eclipse on Turn the Page with Janine, so stay tuned to that. Not sure if it's going to be this Thursday or next, but it's incoming. And we have a lunar eclipse on the 25th, which opens up energetically. Yay. But, you know, if you're up in, I was going to go 3 hours south into, you know, parts unknown of Indiana that I never explored. I only been up to the northern part of Indiana, not to the southern. But it's hitting central to south. I'm going to stay home and see the 93% of it and get some photos. And yeah, it should be fun. So stay tuned for that. Another charming science article. I don't know why these pop out at me more than the others, by Mohammed Quasar Rather. He's a pretty good guy. January 9th, 2024. Research demonstrate that quantum entanglement and topography are extractably linked. For the first time, researchers have demonstrated the remarkable ability to perturb pairs of spatially separated yet interconnected quantum entangled particles without altering their shared properties. We achieved this experiment milestone by entangling two identical photons and customizing their shared wave function in such a way that their typography or structure becomes apparent only when the photons are treated as a unified entity. Oh boy, time crystals again, people. The role of typography and its ability to preserve properties in this work can be likened to how a coffee mug can be reshaped into a form of a donut. Despite the changes in appearance and shape during the transformation, a singular whole, a typological characteristic, remains constant and unaltered. In this way, the two objects are typologically equivalent. The entanglement between our photons is malleable, like clay in a potter's hand, but during the molding process, some features are retained, explains Forbes. The concepts have been realized in modern magnetic materials, liquid crystals, and even in optic analogs using classic laser beams. In the realm of condensed matter physics, skyrions, I'm so slaughtering that, are highly regarded for their stability and noise resistance, leading to groundbreaking advancements in high-density data storage devices. We aspire to see a similar transformative impact with our quantum entangled skyrions. Oh. So we're still getting quantum fuckery happening here, folks. Still happening. And these are just small little examples that I'm posting and putting out there for people to ponder about and think about. It's scary. And the last article that I have for today is from discovermagazine.com, how artificial neural networks pave the way for a dramatic new theory of dreams. Machine learning experts struggle to deal with overfitting in neural networks. Evolution solved it with dreams, says new theory. This is the Physics ARXIV blog, July 31st, 2020. I don't know why something from 2020 just is now popping up, but Psychologists say this behavior comes about because the human brain sometimes links events that have little or no causal connection. Computer scientists have a different way of thinking about it. For them, this is an example of overfitting, using irrelevant detail to construct a model. There may be many factors that contribute to the success of a particular tennis shoe, a tennis shot, a basketball throw, or a home run, but the color of socks or underpants is probably not one of them. Interesting. Exactly the same thing occurs with artificial neural networks. The networks learn relevant detail, but also irrelevancies. Indeed, overfitting is the bane of machine learning. Experts who have devised a wide range of techniques to get around it. Machine learning clue. His new idea is that the purpose of dreams is to help the brain to make generalizations based on specific experiences. And they do this in a similar way to machine learning experts preventing overfitting in artificial neural networks. The most common way to tackle overfitting is to add some noise to the learning process to make it harder for the neural network to focus on irrelevant detail. In practice, researchers add noise to images or feed the computer with corrupted data and even remove random nodes in the neural network, a process known as dropout. In human terms, this would be equivalent to forcing Michael Jordan to wear different combinations of shorts, or making Serena Williams change her socks, or someone else, I don't know how to pronounce that name, adopting random routines on gameplays. This would make it much less likely that they would force on specific irrelevant detail. He calls the idea outfitted brain hypothesis and points out that there is plenty of evidence in his favor. For example, one of the best ways to trigger dreams is to embark on extensive sessions playing simple, repetitive games such as Tetris. This creates the conditions to which the brain can overcome overfitted to task. That's why this kind of activity triggers dreams. These dreams are not replays of remembered Tetris games, but tend to be sparse on detail with hallucinatory qualities. It is the noise that helps the brain generalize from the game. That's also why people can improve their performance after a good night's sleep. Dream substitutes. The theory could also be used to better understand the types of mistakes that sleep-deprived individuals are likely to make and to mitigate against these. If it is true that sleep-deprived brains are overfitted, they will be prone to make errors in stereotypical ways, he says. There is also possibility of dream substitutions wherein artificial dreamlike stimuli might help improve generalization and therefore performance in sleep-deprived individuals. Okay, this is getting scary. And that ends that. So, yeah, this is scary stuff. So those are just a bunch of articles that I saw that caught my eye, that caught my attention, that made me do a lot of pondering. It's a little scary, but if we can take the scariness and the fear out of any of that and just hope that things are going to be used for agendas that are not going to steer humanity down the negative side, but positive, I'm all for it. We just need to be consciously aware of these experiments and the technology that is being applied and these experiments, honing in on the newer internet. And we have to have a realistic expectation that things are not just, you're not ready yet. So the pipe dream that everybody keeps living in certain areas and groups of information that's being told to us, we really need to like go into your heart space, take it in and see quantum internet. Oh, the quantum financial system. Okay, so where is all of this being held? What storage? If they're still figuring out quantum supercomputers. And for that system to happen, we need them bad. I think there's going to be a very slow rollout in the still what we all have computer wise. I think a lot of things are still going to be a slow rollout. And one can only hope that these advancements start happening a little quicker, but for what detriment, if there is one. So I hope all of you have a beautiful rest of your weekend. It is 71 degrees outside. It's going to get really cold again over the weekend. So I want to go out and enjoy and ground and spend some time in nature and enjoy the little bit of spring that I have today, and sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, protection, and shielding energy. Please be safe, be seen. Please check out all the links in the comment section below my video. There's a lot of links and fun and information. All the articles that I read today will be linked there. Hopefully it works. I got gremlins, so let's hope that all helps. And yeah, until the next one, guys, hope to see you. Be safe, be seen, and thank you for supporting me. Bye for now.